violinist Petra Mullejans and one of her bands, the Freiburg Baroque Orchestra, with Johann Sebastian Bach's Violin Concerto No. 1.
Classical WQED-FM 89.3 Pittsburgh and WQEJ 89.7 Johnstown on HD1 and WQEDFM.org.
Hi there, this is Bill McLaughlin inviting you to join us as we explore the development of the symphony. Now, if you think that description sounds a little familiar, you're right. This is actually the 12th week we've devoted to exploring the symphony because the symphony is just the grandest form of orchestral music, and composers and audiences always love it. So join us this week on Exploring Music. Weeknights at 9 p.m. here on QED 89.3.
Relax from a long day's work with Classical QED 89.3. Sit back, unwind, we'll be with you all night. You can listen to QED 89.3 on the air or online at WQEDFM.org. Old Man Rhythm is in my shoes, so be my guest. You've got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? A voyage at sea. A passage to the Mediterranean with the Pittsburgh Symphony and music director Manfred Honeck, plus Metropolitan Opera star Renee Fleming. I'm Jim Cunningham. No use sitting here singing the blues. Pittsburgh Symphony Radio is made possible by the McKinney Charitable Foundation through the PNC Charitable Trust's Grant Review Committee and by the musicians of the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra.
We want to travel from America to Southern Europe, and then so we hear a lot of American music. You hear Spanish music.
Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed. Apologies once again for our tardiness. I call to order this legislative meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of October 2018. Ms. Pule, will you call the roll?
David Graves.
Present.
Sharday Seligson.
Present.
Jeff Hanchett.
Here.
Ava Johnson.
Here.
Ronna Curry.
Here.
Jeff Hildebrand.
Here.
Paige Strasbaugh. Mike Belmont.
Here.
Jamie Glasser.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a mic here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
You?
They always tell us to be seated.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from the legislative and agenda-setting meetings from September?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions, changes, or additions to the minutes?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss legal, personnel, and security matters. Mr. Harris, do you have any announcements?
Okay, just that this weekend, Sunday, we have the Halloween trunk or treat coming up at the high school, so please be in attendance. I'll be there with my special
You can't
football promotion trunk. Ooh.
No. Okay. Anyone else have announcements? Okay. Details on the trunk or treat and arrival and how to get there and all of that information is available on the website and on the Facebook page for the Hugs group. Okay.
Also, is transportation?
There is transportation available. Yes. Details on that is available on the website as well. Okay. Do we have student speakers this evening? Okay. Seeing none. Move us to presentations. Dr. Livingston, the Spirit Awards from Wilkins.
Okay, this evening, our first award, Wolverine Spirit Award winner is Chelsea Marquez. Chelsea, and she was nominated by her teacher, Miss Wilson. Chelsea is a third grader at Wilkins this year, and Chelsea comes into the classroom every day with a big smile on her face, ready to learn and eager to learn. Chelsea does all of her homework and morning work on time. She is respectful, responsible, and organized. She pays close attention to detail and is an avid participant in the classroom. At dismissal time, she always makes Miss Wilson's day by giving her a big hug before getting on the bus and telling her, "I'll see you tomorrow," with a big smile. The Woodland Hills School District is proud of Chelsea. And Chelsea has her family with her mom and dad, and Gabriel and Matthew are her brothers. Gabriel is in 4th grade, and Matthew is in kindergarten with us. And there's a gift card for Barnes & Noble. All right, sweetie. Dear Dad. Okay, our next is Link Ensley. And Miss DeTour, his teacher, had nominated Link. Link is a 1st grader at Wilkins. And Ms. DeTore wrote a very beautiful nomination form, which didn't all fit on the award. But I am going to read the whole thing. It says, Link is prepared. He comes to school every day with his materials that he needs to be successful during the day. He turns in his papers and homework on time that is completed neatly. Link takes pride in his schoolwork. Link is productive. He always uses his time wisely. When he completes an assignment, he will immediately start working on extra work or read a book. He does his best and works to improve his learning. He remains on task and follows all the classroom rules. He is a true leader and he helps his friends by setting a good example. Link is prompt. Link arrives to class on time and comes to school every day. He follows the classroom routines, so he is always making good choices and is a huge helper. He has his materials ready and comes into school with a positive attitude. Link is polite. Every morning he comes into the classroom and says, "Good morning, Ms. DeTore," followed with a hug. He greets his classmates and gets right to work. He shows respect by using his manners and helping his friends, not only in the classroom, but his friends in the school. If a classmate is making a wrong choice, Link will pull them aside and kindly show them what they should be doing. His classmates respect him and follow his lead. When Link leaves for the day, he always says, "Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow." Yes. Link is proud. Link plays for the Woodland Hills Wolverines. He is the quarterback for his team. He plays games. He has games every weekend, and he attends every game. Playing football for the high school team is a goal that he wants to achieve. I believe that he will be able to reach this goal because he is a hard worker. After speaking with his family, I learned that Link is quite good at football and scores a touchdown almost every game. Yet he always remains humble and a team player. So we are very proud to honor Link this evening. Keep this too, babe. Okay? So Mommy and Daddy can see that. Sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Ms. DeTore is here. That's Ms. DeTore, the teacher that recognized him.
Thank you very much. Ms. Patterson with nutrition, welcome.
That's a difficult act to follow.
It is.
I don't know if I feel that's very fair.
We set you up on that one.
Great job. My name's Kelly Patterson. I am the regional manager for the nutrition group who operates your cafeteria programs here at Woodland Hills. We have Kylie McLean Blake with us this evening. She's your on-site food service director. She's here every day working with your students and staff to ensure that we have great meals. So I just wanted to take a few minutes this evening to kind of give you a sneak peek of what's coming up for the school year. Some different programs that we have available. Of course, if they are a good fit for Woodland Hills, we'd be happy to bring them into your schools. You do have a sample in front of you this evening. It is a apple nacho, and it is a sweet treat that will be featured in your schools. It does fall into the regulations of the National School Lunch Program. So we're working hard to bring in a couple sweet treats back into the programs. When the regulations changed, the days of Jell-O and pudding every day, kind of were eliminated. So we're excited to bring some of those things back. So back by popular demand are some of our favorite programs: Recipe of the Month, Lunch for Life, Tasty Bites, Wellness Wednesday, and Farm to Fork. Wellness Wednesday is one of my favorites. When the regulations changed and we knew that we would have to introduce some ingredients that the students were not familiar with, we started Wellness Wednesday. So in your elementary schools, once a month, there'll be a table with a seating area with balloons. It's exciting, and it'll feature a recipe of ingredients that they may not have tasted before. When they come up and they take a taste of those items, they receive a sticker that says, "I tried something new." So some of your Wellness Wednesday features that will be coming up at the Academy in October, they'll be trying a maple apple barley salad, a roasted sweet potato salad in November. So we look forward to bringing those recipes to the students. And the recipes are also available for them on flyers to take home to make with mom and dad, along with facts about the ingredients in that program. So that's one of my favorites. Tasty Bites will bring some of those sweet treats into the program. And Recipe of the Month is also one of my favorites, where we bring in some newly inspired recipes. Oftentimes they are from our staff members across 5 states. They compete to have their school recipes featured in the Recipe of the Month. They're student tested and they are received very well. So we're excited to bring that program back. Uh-oh. I'm going to mess stuff up. What to expect for the coming school year. You'll see some changes to the look of your serving lines. All of the serving lines will feature display plates of the featured item for that day, so the students can very quickly come through, see what the featured item is that day, decide if that is what they want to choose for lunch. Some new signage, just more of a streamlined, clean look to the serving lines, a little bit less of the typical decoration that you may see in a school cafeteria. So we're excited to bring that. NutriSlice is an app that we currently use here at Woodland Hills, if you were unaware about it. It is an online program for the parents. They can look at it on their computer, they can download it right to their phone, and pull up what the menu is for that day. Not only can they see the menu, but they can also see what the nutrition analysis is of that specific item. They can also look for allergens. It has the top 8 allergens listed, and parents at home could actually print out a menu excluding an allergy ingredient. For example, if they wanted to exclude gluten, they could say, okay, no gluten, and it will print the menu excluding all of those items. So it just gives a lot more information to the parents and the consumer about the foods that they are having. Recipe of the month we spoke about. French onion chicken sandwich is one of the recipes coming up. This one is more my favorite. Food Fusion is new this year. So, of course, customers are changing all the time. So we have to go out into the industry and find out what's going on out there. What are they looking for? Food trucks are hugely popular. There's food truck parks. There's schedules of food trucks everywhere. So we went out and we said, okay, food trucks, what are you doing that we're not? Believe it or not, the one thing that kept coming up over and over and over again is anything served in a waffle cone. I don't know. That's the thing. Sriracha cheeseburger in a waffle cone. Mandarin orange chicken and rice in a waffle cone. So we went to the manufacturers and we said, okay, manufacturers, we work in school food service. We need a whole grain waffle cone. It's got to meet the standards. They made us one. So your high school students get to have some of those trends that are out there. So far this year, they've had mandarin orange chicken with fried rice in a waffle cone. So you'll see some of those things pop up on the menu, and as much as we think that's kind of weird and may not work, the kids love it. So we're excited to bring some kind of crazy creations. The picture that you see is a Baja lime fish taco. I'm a huge fan of fish tacos, so I think your kids can be exposed to that too, and I think they could enjoy that as well. We also have one, it's called a sushi burrito, but it's not raw fish, I promise. And it was received really well. So we're excited about that, just bringing them some kind of off-the-wall, trendy things from in the industry. Social media is huge. We like to share great pictures of the food and the events that are happening in your schools. So you can follow the cafeteria. It is TNG_Woodland Hills on Twitter. So if anyone is a Twitter person, you guys can go on and see what's going on in your school cafeterias. The other thing we like to focus on is our people. There's 2 things that I like to focus on in our industry, and it's food and people. So over this summer, all of our directors, Kylene included, attended a training where they not only learned about new regulations, but new ways to manage, new ways to have and drive that team that we have to create a culture in their schools. We spent some time with Matt Heller. He's a performance optimist. Talked about communication, leadership, follow-up, having your team be involved. So that was one of the training pieces that we had this summer. Your hourly staff also receives training. There's a designated number of hours that anyone who works in the National School Lunch Program has to complete in the year for them to be employed in a National School Lunch Program. So they attend what we call Professional Development Day. And in that day, it's a long day, it's 8 hours. They earn all of the credits that they need for that school year. So your staff here at Woodland Hills already has their training credits that they need for this school year. So we're excited about that. They have a great time. The training that they attended one, it was in Penn Hills, probably had 6 or 8 school districts, and it's familiar faces from the last training that they were at, so they really have a good time just getting out for the day and seeing everybody. So we were excited to host that for them this year. So looking into the future, as we said, the challenge is we have ever-changing customers, which is why we look at the new trends, try to bring the new programs, and obviously obtaining and retaining hourly employees, which goes along with our training. Well-trained employees, employees who know what they're doing, managers who know how to create a culture in the kitchen of positivity and teamwork. So some things that you might see come to your cafeteria or that are available for us to bring into Woodland Hills. The Tap and Go program works hand in hand with your NutriSlice program, and what it does is it gives the students the ability to order their lunches on their phone ready to pick up. Faculty can do the same. It's a feature that works in some districts and not in others. So it's something that is available that we could discuss if the district is interested in it. Fresh Eats is part of the new concept that you'll see come to the cafeteria lines with the streamlined decorations, display plates, and the menuing going more towards a bistro style and fresh foods. Cafe concepts, I know that's a little bit hard to see, are things that are going into a lot of the high school cafeterias, moving away from the standard tables, moving more into an atmosphere. It's almost like a lounge atmosphere. Works in some districts. Some schools have an area like this as a reward center. You earn passes to go into the cafe area to have your lunch. It's a little bit more of a cooler place to hang out. So they use that as a behavior incentive. Branding with the experts. These are all familiar names. And we know that the students enjoy these items on an outside basis. So these three specific pizza places have worked hard to create a product that fits the National School Lunch Guidelines. So we will be looking at what is available in your area, what are the student favorites, is this something that we want to bring in, not on a daily basis, but maybe once a month at your high school they could feature that product versus what we're making on site. And let me tell you, your high school ladies make a mean pizza. I would choose it over these guys any day, but it's that name that the kids get excited about. One example at a school where we tested Pizza Hut last year, the student came through the line and they said, "What's with the small pizza?" Because it looked different than what we make. And the lunch member said, "Oh, it's Pizza Hut." He's like, "Oh, I'll have two." You know, simply because it was Pizza Hut. So we like to bring them things that they're interested as well. So that's something that we can look at here. Crimson Cup is a coffee company that we're working with to provide different equipment at no charge to the districts to bring in coffee shops and different things for the high school level students. This was a case study of the 6 schools that featured the branded pizzas last year. Average increase in participation was 8.25%, and average increase in a la carte sales was almost 12%. So it just shows you that it is that branding that they're interested in. For our hourly staff, again, we spoke about their training. We know that retaining and staff retention we struggle with that in the industry as a whole as food service. Nutrition's no different. We struggle to continue to have enough staff to make sure the kitchens are operating, make sure we have enough substitutes on hand so the staff can take their personal day or their sick day or take care of their family members without thinking, oh my gosh, who's going to feed the kids that day? So we developed a 5-level training program for them, as well as the professional development days, just to ensure that they're comfortable in the positions that they're in, so they don't feel frustrated and the need to leave or move on to another career opportunity. So we're very proud of that. Our theme this year is Moments Matter. You'll see that a lot if you do follow us on Twitter. And that's what we're here for. We're here to create a moment for not only your students, your faculty, your community. We like to be involved. So any chance that we get to make a difference for a student, whether it's, making a salad without an ingredient that they don't like, or just making a change, or making sure that they have the food that they need because they have a dietary need, or just making sure that when your kindergarten kids or first graders, like that young man that stood up here that was super smiley, that he has a good experience when he comes through the kitchen. So we know that those moments for the students matter. So that's what one of our main focuses is this year, is creating those moments for the students. That's it, unless you guys have questions for me. I just wanted to give you a preview of what was up and coming. If you have questions about what we've done so far this year, I'd be happy to answer any of those. Sure.
Do you do surveys? Do you do surveys on the satisfaction of the food that the students are eating to the students?
Yes, there's a couple different things that we do. Anytime we introduce kind of an off-the-wall new item, for example, last year at your high school we sampled a butternut squash burrito. We did samples in the line prior to them coming to the line. 99% of the students that sampled that product chose it for lunch, and they also filled out survey cards for us. The other thing that we do on a broader spectrum is we call them YAC meetings, or youth advisory councils, where we will work with the principal to pull a group of students for like a half an hour and just talk about lunch. What's going good? What do we not have that you want? What's the worst thing you've eaten in the cafeteria? I need to know those things too. So those are the two formal ways that we survey students. And then every day, our directors are instructed that between the hours of 11 and 1, they shouldn't be in their office. They've got to be out on the floor working with the ladies, talking to the students, sitting down at the cafeteria table saying, hey guys, how is everything today? What could we do better? What's your favorite thing? Is there something that you like to eat at home that you just don't like at school when we make it? So that we can get feedback on what's going well and what's not.
NutriSlice app as well, they can rate the food.
Oh, that's right. The NutriSlice app, students can leave feedback that we will get. They can rate an item. They can leave us comments. It's a star system.
Yeah. I have a question. You mentioned the Touch and Go app. Mm-hmm. It seems like that would be very popular, but you also mentioned it in some schools they work, in some schools they don't. Why doesn't that work?
The place that we see Tap and Go be successful is when the items featured with the Tap and Go app is something that they can't already get in the line. It's places where there aren't enough serving lines and there's a long line. I don't know that we've operated a Tap and Go app in a CEP school yet, but it would be something that we could definitely look at just to see how it works. There are some schools that have started Tap and Go and it just kind of died off. The students were like, yeah, I don't know that I want to pick that far ahead. A lot of us, how many times do you stop at a restaurant knowing what you're going to get, and when you sit down and look at the menu or you see a photo or you see a display plate, you change your mind. So the Tap and Go app doesn't allow for that changing of the mind. It has to be in the morning, and then it's prepared for them and picked up.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anybody else?
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. And one more presentation. Dr. Beasley.
Excuse me, I'm Velma Griggs and I'm late. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to be able to make mine.
We're not yet to registered speakers? We're not yet registered speakers.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Beasley, and I'm here on behalf of Rewind Behavior and Simulation Center. And we are a mental health agency that specializes in trauma-informed care. And I know you've been hearing the trauma-informed buzzword around the district and throughout the Pittsburgh area. But I wanted to present something that gave you a little more in-depth idea about some of the things that we offer. Trauma-informed care basically means most of the people within the staff or the agency have an idea about what trauma looks like and how to identify it. However, I am a trauma-informed therapist who has been certified in a specific trauma and evidence-based practice. And that's a little different than just knowing about trauma. And the reason why I presented it to the district, and I kind of thought about this district about a year ago with the onslaught of a lot of violence within the district and a lot of deaths within the district, and recognizing that the effects of trauma, those students come back into your doors. And untreated trauma can manifest in a number of ways, which would impact not only the students, but also the teachers that interact with them on a daily basis. And so I wanted to reach out to you to find out ways we could partner and figure out ways to make sure that those students who may not be able to get out to offices or parents not able to get them where they need to be, they can actually start to receive some care and mend those broken pieces and also help within your classrooms. So some of the things that we do is we do trauma screenings and assessments. And I think that is important because you want to know whether the behavior that is manifested in the classroom is actually, it could be a mental health disorder, but it could also be trauma mimicking at that. And so someone who is trained in trauma treatment and certified and what that looks like, which is a person of myself would be able to distinguish that. In addition, be able to give evidence-based therapy to help with the growth of that child. In addition to the screening and assessments, it also gives you a baseline of where a child is when we start, but we also assess throughout the treatment to find out where the growth is happening. So you would be able to have measurable scores to say this is actually working. In addition to assessments, we also do training and development for teachers. We offer counseling and professional counseling for teachers. And so I wanted to kind of reach out to figure out ways we can even help those teachers who may have experienced vicarious trauma, which means they are actually getting the residue of the trauma because they interact with students who have been impacted so much throughout the day, throughout the school year. It can be overwhelming for teachers as well. And so where do the teachers go to get that place to kind of unload and figure out if they're a teacher burnout or if they're experiencing vicarious trauma or if there's some unmet needs that they need to address. And so Rewind would be able to offer those type of services as well.
Any questions? Is there a proposal that you've presented to the district at this point? Or
I'm sorry?
Is there a proposal that you've presented?
Not a formal proposal, but I did meet with superintendent.
Okay. Great.
And of course, there'll be additional information if you would need any other additional information of some of the other things that we offer. But primarily individual group therapy, trauma-informed therapy as well, and assessments.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that moves us to registered speakers. Ms. Griggs.
Praise God, I thought I was late.
Welcome. Reminder, please give your name
2
and address,
minutes.
place of residence
Yes.
before you begin. You have 2 minutes to speak.
All right.
We're glad you're here. Thank you for being here. And we're interested in what you have to say. So thank you.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. I wrote it because I'm excited first off. But I
Please
said,
give your name and address before you start.
Velma Griggs, and my address is 1826 Monongahela Avenue, apartment 303, and it's Swissville, PA 15218, or Pittsburgh, PA. Okay?
Thank you. Yes,
Now,
thank you.
what I have is good evening. My name is Velma E. Griggs, and I'm a frequent patron of the Swissville Free Library. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Swissville Free Library. I'm suggesting that you close the library or tear it down and build a new one before someone is seriously injured. There's a problem with it in that there is no elevator or ramp for the people to use to access this branch. Okay, I may be wrong, but I understand that it is mandatory that there be an elevator or ramp for people to access the libraries. Okay, I fell one day on my way out due to a staff member running behind me as she said she was trying to be cordial. I fell on my butt, skinned my fingers, okay? She alarmed me, which caused me to fall on my rear end. Somebody said, you were nice saying rear end, Velma. Okay? Also, I saw a mother, my last time going in, by the name of Mary. And she had a baby in her arms, 2 little babies at the foot of the steps. And their names were Owen, Grayson, and Elisha. And I said, Mary, do you mind if I use your name when I make my presentation before the board? She said, no. She could have fallen carrying that baby. The 2 little ones in front of her could have fallen, okay? Then there was a woman by the name of Cornelia who lives in the building I live in, which is Swissville Towers. She was on a cane. And I said, Cornelia, do you mind if I use your name? She said, no, Velma, because it's hard getting up and down those steps, okay? I couldn't go a couple months because I had a foot surgery and had to use a cast on my foot. Okay, so I couldn't get up and down the steps as easily as I could have maybe now. All right, but at any rate, I have informed the head of the library that I can do a talent show to raise money for the Swissville Library, okay? bring it up, and I say that to you because I do a TV program on cable, have done talent shows in the past for different neighborhoods, and can raise money so that they can put in an elevator or a ramp so that people can get in and out of that library. Even some of the staff members, and I think Joe may be retired now because she couldn't get up and down those steps easily. You got someone who works there now who has difficulty getting up and down the steps, okay? Like I said, I have informed the head of the library that I could do a talent show to raise money for this branch, but have not gotten any response from her other than there is something in the works, but she can't discuss whatever that is with me, okay? And I want you to consider my request. Either tear it down, amen, build a new one, or get some money somewhere, or let me raise some money so that you can build it or get some repairs done to it so that people can get in and out of it easily. And then I said, and may I suggest that you name it the Velma E. Griggs Free Library after the funds are raised to provide the things needed. Okay? Thank you very much. And if you need me, I'm telling you, I'm willing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. And that will move us into the agenda, Mr. Harris.
Okay, under board matters. 2.1, verify that evaluations of the superintendent, assistant superintendent, and contracted administrators are completed or underway.
This is not a voting tab. This is information tab. I can verify that the board's responsibilities with regard to the evaluations are complete or underway. I believe you can do the same for administrators if you would do that.
They are.
Okay.
Okay, 2.2, we seek approval for Sarah Keeler to attend the A/Kappa conference in Hershey, PA on October 29th through October 31st, 2018 at a cost of $1,078.27.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Johnson, second by Mr. Hinchett. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. That'll move us to 2.3.
Okay, 2.3, we seek approval of revised policy 201-1, registration/proof of residency requirements.
Is this a first reading, Mr. Harris?
Well, do we count the last meeting as the first reading?
The agenda meeting is not a reading.
First reading.
This is a first reading. There's no action on this tonight. This will be on the agenda again for next month.
Okay, 2.4, we seek approval of attached resolution 538-18 authorizing James P. Harris as an approved signer of contracts with the Pennsylvania Department of Education.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 2.5.
Okay, 2.5, we seek approval of the revised Act 93 agreement.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 2.6.
2.6, we seek approval to accept a severance agreement of Ms. Leisha Lentz, Assistant Superintendent of the Woodland Hills School District.
So moved.
Second. Yeah, the motion is also saying substantially the same form as has been presented to the board.
Okay. I have a motion by Dr. Hildebrand and a second by Mrs. Seligson. Are you amenable to the friendly amendment offered by Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I approve. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Any questions or discussion on this? It would necessitate executive session, but okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 3.1.
Okay, 3.1 curriculum. We seek approval to enter into a contract agreement with Sound Foundation Reading Instruction, LLC, to provide services for non-public schools as per federal programs.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 3.2.
3.2, we seek approval of the ECET2 project grant in the amount of $18,900. This grant is for the grant period of August 10th, 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't ask this last week. So is this, we bringing people in for the...
Ms. Kaiser actually had a big hand in completing this grant, so she's here as backup for me.
Okay. And maybe I just couldn't find it in the proposal that's attached. So are people coming in to talk to, train our people during this ed camp, or how's this? What are we paying for, or what are we getting with them?
So the money would be used as part of the focus is to elevate and celebrate teachers. So what are we doing here that's really working that we need to be making sure that all of our teachers have access to or have information about? And then how are we celebrating some of the triumphs that our teachers experience regularly? And also with making sure that they recognize that we celebrate them as professionals and what they do every day with our students. So the funding can be used in several different ways. They want to focus on how we're building leadership capacity within our staff, within our teaching staff in particular. So it's typically not to bring in outside speakers, but it certainly can be used for materials, books, things that we would want to provide to our entire staff. We can use that money for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all that.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 3.3.
3.3, we seek approval to accept the Fisher Scientific Grant in the amount of $25,000 to be used by the Science Department of the Junior-Senior High School.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion?
Jim, any idea what some of the needs are?
Yeah, when they completed the grant this year, they were looking to expand the usage of some of the VR equipment into the science department, as well as buy additional computing and networking equipment.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote.
I'm going to need to take a manual vote. I'm sorry, it's not allowing me. Mr. Graves?
Yeah.
Ms. Seligson?
Yes.
Mr. Hanchett?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to special education 4.1.
Okay, special education 4.1. We seek approval to ratify special education and related services between Belfair's JCB's educational institution known as Monarch School for the 2018-2019 school year. Annual tuition, $86,125.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 4.2.
4.2, we seek approval to ratify a letter of agreement with the Watson Institute Social Center for Academic Achievement program for the 2018-2019 school year. Total annual cost, $45,135.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 5.1.
Pupil personnel 5.1, we seek approval to accept the memorandum of understanding between the Community School East and the Woodland Hills School District.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion on this? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 6.1.
Personnel 6.1, Section A, authorization for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirements, resignations. Section C, authorization to hire professionals. Section D, authorization to hire non-professional staff. Section F, authorization for EDR/mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to buildings and grounds.
Buildings and Grounds 10.1, we seek approval to accept the proposal from CS&E to replace the existing gas boiler at the Swissvale Library at a cost of $38,900 through PA CoStar's Contract 008-126 with funding from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this?
Yeah. Are we going to have to shut the library down for a time to do this, or do you know how long it's going to take to?
No, we're not going to have to shut the library down. The furnace is in. We're waiting for some parts to come in. Those parts won't be in for another couple weeks. So I actually went out and purchased some heaters for the downstairs and the upstairs. I just put them in place today with the temperatures dropping down to 36 tonight. So that's where we're at right now. That's the update.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on this one? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 10.2.
Okay, 10.2, we seek approval for the use of facilities by outside organizations for the 2018-19 school year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this?
Yeah, has this been redone from last week when we discussed? The fees were waived for the Edgewood youth basketball draft night. I did not waive for the men's basketball. I do need to add one thing, though, because Forest Hills Church Hill Baseball, which are part of the youth soccer, they requested to use the gym at Wilkins starting November through March, and it did not make the board tab, so I'd like to add that on there. But however, we can't allow them to use it for Monday because it's already booked, but we do have openings for Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'd like to have that opportunity to offer it to them.
Okay. Does anybody have a problem with that? Okay. How about the baseball for the use of the field on the 27th? Is that fee going to be waived, or is that?
Forest Hills Churchill baseball?
Yes.
We've been charging them $50. That's what we've been charging them.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to waive that.
Well, so why are they at 3?
Right. I'm confused as to why we are not waiving that fee.
Unless they're charging admission.
They're not. I don't believe so.
No, they don't.
What I'll do is I'll call them tomorrow, and then if they're not charging, then I'll just go in and waive the fee tomorrow. Okay.
Yep. That's okay. Anybody else have anything on this? Okay. All right. Then we will take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, 10.3.
Okay, 10.3. We seek approval to replace Edgewood primary door number 10 from A.G. Morrow Company at a total cost of $12,395 per PA CoStars Contract 008-289 with funding from Capital Reserve Fund 32.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That will move us to 10.4.
10.4, we seek approval to have Sidelines Tree Service to prune 6 trees, clean out all of the dead branches at the Academy parking lot at a cost of $2,257 with funding from the general fund.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, and that will move us to legal matters.
Legal matters, 11.1. We seek to approve releases and settlement agreements by students in Federal Court Action 2, 17-CV-01112, Western District of Pennsylvania, against multiple parties, including district and several employees.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to school finance.
School finance, 12.1. We seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after September 19th, 2018 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion on the ratification list? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to 12.2.
12.2, we seek approval of the October 2018 bill list.
Is there a motion?
So moved. The second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on the bill list? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to 12.3.
12.3, we seek approval of the September 2018 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions or discussion on the activity reports? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to 12.4.
12.4, we seek approval of the investment reports for September 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Johnson. Any questions on the investment reports? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to 12.5.
12.5, we seek approval of the budgetary transfers for October 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 12.6.
12.6, we seek acceptance of the $1,500 from the grant makers of Western Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions or discussion on this?
Can you explain it a little bit?
Mr. Harris? Mr. Gigliotti, can you explain?
Okay.
I don't know whose grant this is. Jim. I mean, we as board policy goes, we have to accept grants of $1,000. So that's why they're in here.
This wasn't my grant, but at Leader 21 is a software program that we've engaged with through the Consortium for Public Education to help build a profile of a graduate. So we've been involved with the consortium as part of that partnership. I believe there was recently a conference that a district that Ms. Lentz attended that this was partially funded by this grant, and for additional materials in support of that.
This was a trip to, I believe,
Phoenix,
Arizona.
Yeah.
I almost said Australia.
Okay. I'll take that one.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to superintendent.
14.1, we seek approval to enter into an agreement with Operation Warm to receive 400 donated coats at the Edgewood Primary School on October 26, 2018.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions or discussion?
Just
any cost to this?
No, there's no cost.
I noticed in one of the updates that there's another building that's also receiving coats. I believe it was the Academy. Do we need to approve those as well?
No, I believe the coats were somewhere in the building, or they were somewhere. I saw that also. They're not being donated. They were stored there.
Okay.
And they're available.
Okay, very good. Okay, any other questions?
Okay. Our name is spelled wrong in the details of it.
Should probably get that corrected.
But I'm assuming that doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Woodland.
Did you get the coats? He's not listening.
Are you? Yeah. It's bright shirt day for both of us.
It is, yes. Okay, sorry. What was
Did you get the coats yet?
Not yet. They'll be coming next week after. We have to send them paperwork to give them male, female numbers and approximate sizes that we're going to need in an average.
And every student's getting
Every student gets a jacket.
Nice.
It's amazing.
It's good. Wow. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none. Take the vote. Okay. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to old business. Is there any old business? Any new business?
Did we announce the turkey trot?
We did not.
Okay. That's before the next legislative.
It's November 17th is the date of the turkey trot. Registration is available online for that. It'll be there's a 5K option and a 1 mile option for that, and that's it's a new event this year from the Hugs group, and it will be at the high school. So I believe it starts at 9 a.m. That's my recollection.
Do we need to mention our change in committee meetings? And
Yes, the committee meetings will be for next Wednesday. Committee meetings will be held next week. Tuesday will be here per usual. Wednesday will be at the high school. We also intend to hold a special meeting on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. preceding the committee meetings. So, okay. Anything else under new business?
Yes, I presented my project last week to the board, so I'd like it to be approved and signed this week. I gave you guys the proposal
presentation
last
okay.
week, yeah.
Okay. Is there someone who wishes to make the motion to approve Mr. Hall's project?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Curry, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions for Mr. Hall while he's here with us?
Can you have it done by the turkey trot?
Yes.
It was the turkey trot?
November 17th. That's
no.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
When are you starting that project?
Should start by mid-late November.
And you'll coordinate with Mr. Finney about all the work to be done on site and all of that. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Hall? Okay. Seeing none, I guess we'll take a voice vote on that, Ms. Jewell.
Ms. Ellickson?
Yes.
Mr. Hanchett?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Curry?
Yes.
Dr. Hildebrand?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. We reviewed reports from the committees last week, so we don't need to do that this week, but a reminder again that our committee meetings will be next Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday will be here at 6 p.m. Wednesday will be at 6 p.m. at the high school, preceded by a special meeting at 5:30. Okay, so that moves, unless there's anything else from anybody in terms of reports, that will move us to public communication. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? Okay. Good evening, Ms. Reed. As a reminder, please give your name and address. You have 2 minutes to speak. We welcome public comment, and thank you for being here.
Thanks. Donika Reed,
134 Laniki Street, Wilkins Township. I'm happy to see the change of the administrator. Really excited about that. That's one level of security that's improved. But anyway, one thing I want to mention is that I know that you guys have recently been in contact with the ACLU regarding the school resource officers. I think that you should listen to their advice. I think we have, for over a year now, been advocating for the contracts to be canceled with the police departments. I think that in addition to that, we should look into, if you have not already, replacing the Dynasty Security Company. I know I've said this before, but I do also want to remind the board, I know that some of you are not planning on running for re-election. I know that there are 6 seats up this coming year. I think that if we are going to, or planning on running for re-election, we should think about whether or not we actually are going to make a decision on that or make a change on that. And that should come probably before February, when you have to get your petition signatures. Because this election will be a little different now that there's been some changes made in the district, so there are actually more people who are interested in running for school board. So I think that we should start to think about how the kids actually feel about police presence in the schools and acknowledge the fact that they can be traumatized by police presence. And so, yeah, I'd like for the board to continue to think about that if you have not already. But, yeah, especially for election season coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to address the board at this time? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all very much. See you next week.
All right, I have to try my